Thanks, guys, for having me. My name's Daniel Keys, COO of EOS Nation. We're a proud sponsor of the conference here. Very excited and happy to be in your beautiful city. Hopefully you don't mind I'm speaking in English. Unfortunately, my Portuguese is not very strong, so we'll stick to English. Before I get started, just a little background about myself and how I got here. Like I said, I'm the COO, co-founder of EOS Nation. We're a block producer on the EOS blockchain. If you don't know what a block producer is, that's okay. By the end of this next talk, that should be all clear. I've had the pleasure and honor of contributing to some foundational tools on EOS, including the referendum system, lost key recovery system, and helping to coordinate the deployment of the latest version of EOS 1.8, which I'll talk a little bit more about as we go. Before getting involved in the EOS community, I spent 10 years in financial technology, and I spent some time consulting with a dev shop in Toronto, working on blockchain technology. I was very excited about the potential of blockchain and its ability to revolutionize so much about technology and things that we're doing. Ability to eliminate middlemen, put the powers back in the hands of the people creating value, and give people the opportunity to own their own data. And we're seeing, with things like Facebook, why it's becoming more important for people to control their own data. But as I was working on in consulting with businesses who had existing customers and they were trying to gain these benefits of blockchain, the roadblocks became very clear. At this time, this was a few years ago, Ethereum was really your only option if you wanted to build a decentralized application. And as I was speaking to these businesses with existing customers and talking through what it would mean to their user experience in particular from moving from a centralized application onto a blockchain, and explaining that their customers would have to learn how to download a wallet and manage private keys, and every transaction they make on your app, there's going to be a fee. Suddenly, the excitement disappeared. It became very clear that really blockchain's not ready for most use cases out there. But then I discovered EOS, and it blew my mind, because suddenly all of these issues seemed to get solved. EOS is the most powerful infrastructure for decentralized applications, in my opinion. Because it has high performance, it's flexible, and it's highly usable. It was the first blockchain protocol I came across where I saw the potential to build an application that maybe one day my grandmother would be able to use without having to worry about things like managing keys and things like that. And this is what I think is key to bringing mass adoption to this technology. So first, I'll go through kind of each of these three key factors of what I think makes EOS the ultimate place to build dApps. First is its high performance. So if you're familiar with blocktivity.info, it's a website that ranks, it's kind of like CoinMarketCap, except instead of ranking blockchains in order of their market cap, it ranks them in order of the transactions occurring on them. So you can see that EOS, this was taken just a few days ago, is number one, and it has been number one for a long time. It's 85% of all of the activity of all the top blockchains are currently happening on EOS. And that just speaks to its high performance. It's able to actually support all these transactions, and currently it's doing about 4,000 transactions per second. And it keeps getting faster. So what we have here, these are on a testnet on EOS. A bunch of block producers recently deployed the next version of EOS, EOS 2.0, with a new WebAssembly Engine. And it actually is 6 times faster than the current version. We can see here that red line at the top was a block producer who was running the old version of EOS, and they upgraded to the new version of EOS, and you can see the processing, the CPU time has dropped significantly. So Block One, they're the guys behind building the software for EOS. They're continuing to innovate, upgrade the software. They've raised $4 billion in their token sales, so they have a huge team of developers constantly working to make the software better and more usable. It's flexible. So another issue we were having, if you wanted to build an application on something like Ethereum, once you deploy your smart contract, you're kind of stuck with it. There's no way to upgrade, make changes if you made a mistake. EOS changed that with a few. You can change the core infrastructure of EOS with 15 out of 21 block producers agreeing. You can upgrade the core infrastructure. You have configurable account permissions, so I can set up my account to have multiple keys that have different permissions to do different things, and built-in multi-signature functionality. So I can, in addition to these different permission sets, I can have different friends or different organizations sharing access to my account in case I, for example, lose my account. I can recover my keys if I meet a certain threshold based on how I configured my account. And this is all built into the core of EOS. It just makes it very easy to configure an account to be able to do that. So that allows smart contracts to decide how immutable they want their smart contract to be. You can have a smart contract that has only one key that one person controls, or you can set your smart contract to require maybe 5 or 10 different people to make a change, or you can null the keys of your smart contract and make it 100% immutable. So that you have that flexibility with EOS. On September 23rd, we upgraded EOS. It had its first hard fork. We upgraded to EOS 1.8. Nobody really noticed, though. That's how smooth it was. Because we have this functionality built in to make it possible to upgrade, it just required 15 of the 21 block producers. Well, actually, in this case, it was all the block producers had to upgrade their nodes, but everything just kept running. And this is an example of how an account permission can be set up. So this is there's a dApp on EOS called Shintai, and it's a leasing platform that allows you to lease your resources. Let's say I have a lot of EOS, but I'm just a speculator. And the way that EOS works is it's a resource to allow you to use the network. And if I have a bunch of EOS, I can profit from that by leasing it out to someone who actually needs it. And Shintai has developed a platform that makes it easy to do that. And they've configured their permission in a way where you can see we have a number of block producers who each control a key. And we can see EOS Nation, we're one of these. And our block producer itself also is set up with a similar, each of the founders of EOS Nation has a key. So in order to make changes to this smart contract, we need all of these people to agree. So again, it's a certain level of immutability, but it's not so immutable that now you can't upgrade it anymore. And again, it's completely configurable by the dApp developer. My favorite part about EOS, though, is its usability. So it's low latency, which means because transactions happen so quickly, there's only half-second blocks. When I click a button on an app, I get a result immediately. I don't have to wait for the transaction. Transactions are basically instant. We get human-readable account names, so instead of a long string of letters and numbers, private keys, my name on EOS is EOS Nation Dan. It's a nice human-readable. And you have, again, I talked about the configurable account, which you can, because of that, I can secure my account in different ways by having multiple people required to do permissions at different levels. But the killer feature for EOS is no transaction fees. So there is a cost to transact on an EOS, but the token economics are a little bit differently. Instead of having to pay gas, like something on a proof of work like Ethereum, just by owning some EOS gives me the right to use the network. So if a user wants to, for example, if we want to build a social network on a blockchain, no one is, people are used to using things like Facebook, where I can post something, like a post, interact with my friends for free. If we were to try to build that on something like, if we were to try to do that on something like Ethereum, you would have to pay a fee for every post I liked. And you're never going to get adoption that way. So EOS was the first blockchain I came across to solve that problem. And it keeps getting more usable. So with EOSIO 2.0, which was just released a few weeks ago, it's still in testing. There's there's a couple new features. WebAuthn is an industry standard key management built into every web browser. And you're going to be able to control your private keys and create private keys for EOS without a wallet. So I'm not going to have to download something like a MetaMask or currently what we do on EOS. There's a very popular wallet called Scatter, manages your keys. Anybody who has a web browser will be able to go to your app use something like Face ID or Touch ID. It will generate a key for them right in their existing device. You know, if you have an iPhone, there's a secure enclave. It's a secure chip that's separate from the rest of, it's, you know, it's disconnected from the internet, so it's very secure. And right built into the EOS software, now I'm able to create these keys just by tapping the fingerprint or using my face. Or if I don't have those, I can use something like a YubiKey, which is a special hardware device that stores and manages keys. It's not a wallet, it's an industry standard encryption device that's used all over the world, not just in blockchain. And EOS is the first blockchain to support these standards. And this is going to change everything. So today, to interact with an application, I still have to have some EOS. So I need to get an EOS wallet and hold enough EOS in that wallet to cover the transactions that I'm using. But a new feature that's coming out now, which actually was just proposed by the block producers today, actually, to deploy this new feature, will allow dApp developers to actually pay for the resources for their users. So if you're an entrepreneurial developer and you want to build an app that's very user-friendly, you don't want to worry about your customers having to figure out how to download the wallet and buy EOS and stake their resources. I can do that for my users. They don't have to worry about it. And it will, be just like interacting with any other website you go to, where the blockchain becomes invisible. To a regular user, it's just another website, because the app developer has the ability to take care of all of the complex things for you. So that's I think a huge game changer that's going to enable mass adoption. I'll share a little bit of background. What's the difference between... So EOS is a delegated proof-of-stake blockchain. If you compare that, most people are used to proof-of-work blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Delegated proof-of-stake is a big part of what enables the scalability that you get on EOS. With proof-of-work, you have miners basically doing a hash power war. It's an arms race to see who can have the most hash power to earn the right to produce the next block. And all of that energy they're putting into is really just to give them a higher chance of winning the lottery so that they can produce the next block. Whereas in delegated proof of stake, you're actually elected by token holders. So anybody who's holding an EOS token has a right to vote for who are the validators. And once you're elected, you already have earned that right. So I don't need to be burning hash power. Instead, all of the resources I'm using are going towards actually operating the network. So that gives you the ability to do way faster transactions and throughput. The rewards are similar. We're earning a share of inflation based on our vote percentage as a block producer and based on the number of blocks we're producing, which is similar to proof of work. And a big difference is in the incentives. In delegated proof of stake, the big incentive is to attract votes. So there's a huge incentive to add value for the network to attract those votes. Or as opposed to proof of work, the incentive is just to buy more hardware so I can have a better chance of having a higher hash power. And the way that it works is, again, there's 21 block producers who are elected, who are the ones actively working on the network. This screenshot here shows the number of tokens that are currently required to be staked to a block producer to get into a level to be in the top 21. This was just taken on October 9th, and at that time you needed 274 million EOS staked towards you just to be at that minimum number 21 position. Last I checked this morning, I think we're now up to 288. So every day that threshold is going higher and higher, and the security of the network is getting higher and higher because, again, you require many stakeholders to trust you and stake their resources towards you to give you the right to produce blocks on the network. And to make any changes on the network, you require 15 of those 21 to agree. There's a multi-signature proposal that's put on chain, and you get to, they'll have to agree to make a change. So that's how we, for example, are in the process of deploying these new features on EOS. If you compare that to a proof of work like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they only require 51% hash power to make a change to the network. And right now, with the way that mining pools work, that requires maybe 3 mining pools to collude with each other to be able to make a change. I think proof of work and delegated proof of stake each have a place in the market to serve. But if you want to build an application that can scale, that an average user can use, something like a social network, proof of work just isn't able to meet those needs, whereas delegated proof of stake can. So yeah, if you're a developer and you're interested in building something on EOS, you can learn a lot more at developers.eos.io. Again, I'm Daniel Keys from EOS Nation. You can learn more about us at eosnation.io. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen about EOS. Thank you.